The strange thing about reality is most people never question it. But imagine waking up one morning and feeling that something in your life is slightly different. Not something obvious, not something big enough to cause panic, just small things, tiny details that don't quite make sense. A street you've walked 100 times suddenly feels unfamiliar. A friend says something you swear you've heard before, word for word, and a memory you are completely certain about suddenly doesn't match reality. At first, it's easy to ignore. Everyone experiences moments like this: a mistaken memory, a forgotten detail, a tired mind playing tricks. But what if those small mistakes keep happening again and again? Soon, patterns begin to appear. Objects show up in places where you never left them. Conversations feel strangely repeated. Sometimes people say things that sound rehearsed, almost like they're following a script. The feeling becomes impossible to ignore. So you start paying attention, watching people more carefully, listening closely, observing everything around you. And that's when something even stranger happens. One evening, while scrolling through your messages, you notice a text that doesn't make sense, a message from someone who never sent it. At first, it seems like a simple glitch, maybe a phone bug, maybe a delayed notification. But then another strange message appears, and then another. Each one seems connected to the strange things happening throughout your day. Almost like someone, or something, is leaving clues. Now curiosity turns into suspicion, because if these events aren't random, someone must be behind them. So you begin investigating. Old messages are checked, past conversations are reviewed, photos from previous days are examined, and that's when you notice something disturbing. Some photos look different. Not edited, not corrupted, just slightly altered. In one picture, a person stands in the background who shouldn't be there. In another, a shadow appears that was never visible before. But the strangest detail is something small, a symbol. At first, it's easy to miss. Sometimes it appears faintly on a wall, sometimes on a piece of paper, sometimes reflected in glass. But once you notice it, you start seeing it everywhere. Now the search moves online. You type descriptions into search engines, you explore forums, endless pages of strange theories appear. For hours, nothing useful shows up, until one result finally stands out: an old discussion thread buried deep inside an obscure forum. The thread is short, only a few comments, but the original post says something unsettling. The writer claims they've seen the symbol many times in different places. The post ends with a warning. If you start seeing this symbol everywhere, it means someone has already noticed you. A chill runs down your spine. Who would notice you, and why? Scrolling further, most people dismiss the post as fake, but one comment feels different. Short, direct. You're not supposed to find this yet. You freeze, because the comment was posted only a few hours ago. Someone is actively watching that thread, watching anyone who discovers the symbol. Before you can process the thought, a new notification appears. Another message, this time from an unknown number. Just one sentence. You're getting closer than you should. Now it's clear. Someone is watching. But instead of stopping, the search becomes even deeper. Screenshots are saved, messages are analyzed, every clue is documented. Slowly, the pieces begin to connect. The symbol isn't random. It appears in places connected to a small and extremely secretive network of people. They rarely appear publicly. Most of their communication happens through encrypted platforms, and some of their posts mention strange things. They talk about observation. They talk about selected individuals. They talk about something called the awareness stage. At first, it sounds like another internet conspiracy, but then something happens that changes everything. While reviewing an old photo taken weeks ago, you notice something you missed before. The symbol is there again, but beside it, something else appears, a reflection. And inside that reflection, there is a person standing behind the camera, watching. You remember clearly, no one else was there that day, which means only one thing. Someone has been following you much longer than you thought. Days later, the final discovery appears. The symbol is not just a symbol, it's a marker, a signal used by a private network of observers. Their purpose is not to interfere with the world. Their purpose is to study certain individuals inside it. People who begin noticing patterns others ignore. People who question reality. People who start seeing things they were never meant to see. In other words, people who become aware. Suddenly, everything makes sense. The strange messages were not warnings, they were tests. The altered photos were not accidents, they were signals. And the symbol was placed deliberately, to see who would notice it. Because noticing the symbol means one thing. You have reached the first stage of awareness, and once someone reaches that stage, there is no going back. Moments later, a final message appears. Congratulations, you noticed. For a moment, it feels like the mystery is finally solved, but the second sentence changes everything. Now you're part of the observation. Your heart begins to race, because the truth is finally clear. The investigation was never about you finding them, it was them finding you. And somewhere out there, someone is still watching, waiting, to see what you do next. But one disturbing question still remains. What happens to the people who notice too much?